Today we're creating fermented plant juice. Fermented plant juice is an extremely simple and cheap way to create bioavailable fertilizers or nutrients for your plants. I'm going to explain some details in this video. It might seem a little bit complex the first time you watch it, but believe me, you're going to understand it one time watching it, and you're going to be able to apply this to any plant basically, and you're going to be able to do this as many times as you want just watching it one video. It's very simple. So what we need is a glass jar. We need our plant of choice. I'm using cucumber. And we need brown sugar, paper towel, and then we're putting the paper towel over this as a little lid. So then we're going to need something to tie that off with. You can use a rubber band. You can use a twist tie like this. You can use all sorts of things basically, even part of a plant you can use. Okay, just to tie it off basically. And then optional, getting plants that either grow around you or in your backyard early in the morning when there's still that dew, that moisture on it. And this is going to ensure proper microbiology basically. This is optional though, so if you don't have this, you don't have to do this. It's just going to help to ensure a successful ferment. If you want a basically 100% successful ferment and you don't want it to go bad, you don't want to chance that, you can buy EM1 Effective Microorganism 1 online, and you can add a splash to your cut up plant when you cut it up, and this will ensure that proper biology. You'll have to buy that one time, and you'll have to do that to one batch only, and here's why. Because what I'm going to be doing is using already made fermented plant juice that is made from a cucumber that was harvested early in the morning. And I'm just going to add a splash to the plant when I'm done cutting it up basically, and it's going to ensure that 100% basically from my testing that it will not go bad. If you don't do this, I've noticed once in a while it will go bad. Other thing that is completely optional is getting vinegar, so then you can clean the inside and outside of the jar when you're done with this, so there's no sugar on it, which may attract bugs depending on where you put it. Okay, so now I'm going to go over the fact that you can use any plant with this basic recipe, and it's going to be the same ratio. It's going to be per weight, not volume. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to get your plant, and you are going to cut it up. I recommend cutting it up very thin slices the very first time, so you don't have to go back and thoroughly cut it more. You don't have to cut it too much, but I'm going to cut it a good amount. This will increase surface area, so hopefully the bacteria will be able to break down extra stuff, and hopefully also extra moisture will be able to get released. So you can use any plant, and the plant you're going to be using is depending on the stage of your plants or plant you're going to give this to. So in my case, I have a fruit, and fruit is going to have proper nutrition, nutrients, and growth hormones for plants that are producing fruit, as well as flower, because you need flowers for fruit. So if you get flowers in your backyard and you ferment those, they'll be perfect for plants that are producing flowers or fruit, and vice versa. If you have plants that are producing leaves, then you can get those leaves and you can ferment those, and that'll have proper nutrition and growth hormones for producing those leaves. Same thing goes with vegetables, and anything that has seeds in it is a fruit. So I'm talking about, of course, carrot and potato, stuff like that. So this is probably cut up enough, but we're going to go over it 3 times. Just, make sure we get it real good, but nothing crazy. This is the 3rd time over. Boom. So now, get our jar, throw in our plant of choice inside. Next, we are going to add equal weight brown sugar, not volume. I do not have a proper scale for this, and I'm guessing most of you do not either. So, you're going to have to consider how heavy the plant is that you're using. Cucumber has a lot of moisture, so it's going to be relatively pretty heavy. If you're using leaves, for example, that's going to be a lot lighter, and the volume is going to look much different that you're going to use because you're going by weight. Okay? As I explained, I already have some fermented plant juice already made. I add a splash. I just add a little more even. It's going to get extracted again, so it's not going to waste. Now we are adding the equal weight brown sugar. So why are we adding brown sugar? And, please don't use refined white sugar. Please just use brown sugar. You don't have to, but it's highly recommended. It will work better most of the time. So, we're using brown sugar because this is going to not only feed the bacteria once the juice is extracted, but it's going to extract the juice because this sugar is going to have way less moisture than any plant you're going to use, which will create something called osmotic pressure, which in simple terms basically just means that there's way less moisture in this, and there's way less moisture in there's way more moisture in the cucumber and way less moisture in the brown sugar, which will cause osmosis. If you don't know what that means, it's basically just the plant and the sugar becoming homogeneous, becoming equal proportions of water, which will literally cause the sugar to extract the juice out of the cucumber, which will then begin to ferment. And the sugar, like I said, is going to feed all those good microbes. And we just added a splash of this, so we're ensuring good microbiology. Now, when we're cutting, too, we want to use a sharp knife. And when we're mixing, we want to mix gently. We want to get this thoroughly mixed together, but we do not want to smash this. We do not want to mash this. Okay? And when this is done, it will take about 4 would be if you have a very hot environment to 7 days. Depending on your temperature, you're probably going to want to do it more around 6 or 7 days. But like I said, if you have 85-degree temperatures or something, maybe 4 days. If you have, 75 to 80, you will maybe want to do, 5 days or something like that. But if you have, around 70 to 75 degrees in your temperature fluctuation day and night and stuff, maybe even a little lower than that, you're going to want about 7 days. Okay? We got this pretty damn mixed up. And what you're going to realize is, wow, there's already a lot of liquid in this. If you're using leaves, it's going to look much different. You will not see all this liquid. But like I said, the cucumber is going to have a lot of liquid already in it, just from cutting it. So, as you can see, I did not actually mash that. Did not really crush it up. I was kind of just mixing it, throwing over itself, mixing this all together. There was so much water that now it's real liquid. We're going to get paper towel. We're going to get a little vinegar. We're first going to clean off our hand. and then we're going to clean off the inside of this jar. You can kind of make sure some of that stuff goes under there. You know, we don't want to waste stuff. That's kind of the whole reason of doing this. If you have stuff that's looks like you kind of want to throw it out or something, put some proper biology inoculated into it, then you're going to basically just be able to not waste things that you'd normally throw away. Or you're going to be able to extract literally nutrients and fertilizer from things you'd normally consider trash. Bad produce. Funky produce. And you, if you have funky produce, you probably could ferment it without the inoculant. Have I done this? Have I experimented with this? No. So don't take my word for it that actually works. Which I didn't actually say. Okay. We're just doing this. This is not necessary. This is optional, but it is recommended, especially to just make sure you're not attracting bugs and stuff to this. Okay? Simple as that. We're going to get our paper towel now, and we are going to put on top of this. Whoa. It's about good. Definitely don't need that much, or even this much, but we're just going to cut it when we're done. Okay. So right now we are literally just getting a paper towel lid, and we're tying it off. And this will make sure that no oxygen is flowing basically in and out, just like constantly like an actual flow. It is just making sure that when this builds up with some gas, that gas will get released. So we're literally going to get this. Oh, this is actually not necessary, but this is optional too. You could have done it just like that, but this is recommended. I'm gonna now, on top of this, put a cap of sugar. Don't quote me on this because I don't know the exacts, but from what I get from this, you're doing this to make sure if there's any spores in the air or something right now, if any can even get through this paper towel or something, that this layer will sort of stop any unwanted spores or undeveloped endospores, undeveloped bacteria or something. Not undeveloped endospores, but endospores. Undeveloped bacteria. Okay? So, we added that cap. Good cap. And now we're adding this. Give me some feedback if you like just a video that is just, you know, no editing and stuff like that. It shows maybe some of my mistakes, a little stuttering, a little awkwardness, whatever it is. Do you like a video like this, or do you want me to cut out all that other stuff and just make it real straightforward, real professional? Just give me some feedback. I'd really like to hear that. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to get a pen, which I do not have with me at the moment, but we're just going to write the date right now. Okay, so imagine writing the date, and then after, like I said, your 4 to about 7 days, depending on your temperatures, you're going to check this, and you're going to want to see a lot of bubbles building up. It'll kind of look active to your eyes, which it will be active in bacteria. And then, you know, depending on your temperature, you're basically going to know that it's done after those days. It basically will be done. And you're going to take this, and you're going to take the lid off, and you're just going to give it a smell. And it should smell completely different from when you put it in, but it should not smell bad at all. It should not smell overly vinegary though. It should not smell overly alcohol-y. If it smells a little vinegary, smells like a little alcohol, you're totally fine. But you're basically gonna have fermented plants in here that, when you think about it, you're gonna get, if you're using what I'm using, cucumber, you're literally basically making pickles right here, chopped up little pieces of pickles. So, like I said earlier, you can eat this stuff, and I wouldn't go as far as saying it's good for you because of the amount of sugar that's in it, but it will have some good biology. So if you take a bite, it's probably good, but if you eat a bunch of this stuff, you're gonna be feeding actual bad microbiology in your system just because of the amount of sugar. So remember that kombuchas, a lot of kombuchas are the same way with the amount of sugar that they have in them. We're going to check this after our 4 to 7 days. We're going to update you, and we're going to show you the straining process. We're basically just going to strain the liquid from this, and then after that we could show you some applications. I'll go over them real quick if you're curious, where you can do a foliar application, which is putting this into water, getting a sprayer, spraying it on your plants, and this ensures that your plants are going to get this nutrition instantly. Basically, plants feed through their leaves instantly. It is called a foliar spray if your nutrients are bioavailable, which this is going to ensure that. You can also literally get some of this. It's going to be a teaspoon per gallon ratio, and I know that seems kind of crazy, but that's how potent this stuff actually is. So you're going to get a teaspoon, you're going to put that in a gallon of water, and you're going to feed that to your plants if you want. If you are a fan of making compost teas, add a teaspoon of this to your compost teas per gallon. I don't know anything more I have to say. That's it. Let's check this after a few days. About a week.